This has been one of the most anticipated, this has been one of the most exciting, and this has been one of the most delightful opportunities I have been looking forward to. Seriously, I have one talented and extremely, let me emphasize again, talented individual in my guest today for the Productive Conversations podcast. He is a brilliant man. I mean, the guy's an engineer, and he's won incredible music, and he's going to bless us with some of his tracks today. So having said all of that, I have one of my great friends from college and a guy I have a great amount of respect for. This is Dan Berger, everybody. Dan, what's going on?
What's up, Matt? Thank you for the introduction, man. That was touching. I appreciate it.
Well, I mean every word. Seriously, man, you look great, Berger. I see.
Thanks, bro. You look good too, man.
Thank you. I see there's been no quarantine wait for you. You look
I mean, the quarantine wait kind of started, and then I dropped it off by not drinking like gallons of Coke every day.
Seriously, I mean, you're like in that Batman shape. I would be if you told me that you were gonna get ready for a movie, for a superhero movie. I want to doubt it, but man,
yeah, dude, I'm coming for Chris Pratt's role.
Right? Oh.
No, I don't think I'll ever be that ripped. Maybe close, but.
Well, you would definitely have my support in this. But Berger, what's going on? How have you been? I know I heard that 2020 has been quite a year for some people, but how have you been for you so far?
Dude, I mean, I still have a job. I'm pretty blessed in that I can work remotely. That's like the pretty cool thing about the engineering field. We basically just have laptops and we can work anywhere. So it's I feel pretty blessed in that way. I'm not much has changed for me, and I mean a lot has changed obviously, but in regards to work, it's all kind of just the same thing, just the location kind of switched.
I hear you, man. What type of engineer are you exactly right now?
So I'm a civil engineer, and most of the time when I say that, the next question is, what the hell is a civil engineer? Because no one knows what that is. So it's basically like all the stuff that you take for granted every day and don't think about, but needs to get done. So, your house was designed by a civil engineer, like a structural engineer. So, you can go into your house and it doesn't fall on you.
We appreciate houses that don't fall on us for sure.
Exactly. It's always good.
We appreciate people like you, the awesome men and women who are doing that. So thank you, bro, on behalf of society.
I appreciate that, bro. I don't get that a lot, so it means a lot deep down.
Sweet. One of the cool things that we're gonna get into a little bit later, and then you'll show us a great example of this. Dan Berger, you are a musician, you're a guitar player, both electric and acoustic, and I think you're pretty awesome with it. Whether you're soloing or 3 a.m. headlights, you really know how to shred. You really know how to keep the vibe, whether it's shredding or keeping the vibe sweet with an acoustic guitar. And you agreed to play a few songs for us throughout the show. So that's really one great thing to have you here. But why don't you tell me about how has your approach with music and playing has been lately, especially in 2020?
That's an awesome question. So right before, I guess I kind of have to bring you to, and it kind of leads into my first song, so that works out pretty well.
Sweet.
Right before the shit show of 2020, like right in the beginning of 2020 in February, I went to Costa Rica with my cousin, and it just blew my mind. It just blew my mind. The place was like the whole atmosphere of the entire place was just so relaxed and laid back, and it was like so non-judgmental, and like do whatever you need to do, like in order to be happy, whatever you got to do to make that happen. Like that was the whole vibe of the country. So
yeah. And you went in like what, February, January, around that time?
Yeah. I think like February like 9th or 10th or something is when I started heading over there.
Okay.
And dude, it was wild because, you know, I wrote this song on the beach. I have this little travel guitar that's like this big with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote this song like on the beach. I don't even feel like I wrote it. It just like the waves just channeled this energy through my fingers and like through my soul and put it on a piece of paper. It's like the weirdest thing. And so
Talk
I
about
wrote
meant
this
to be.
song yeah, exactly. I've just been playing this song everywhere. I was like, staying at this awesome hostel called Lost Boys, which is super cool.
I've heard
And I
of
was
that.
playing the song everywhere, and then all of a sudden, I just like I'm heading back like 2 weeks later or something towards like the mid or end of April, and Corona is just rising, and
Yeah.
I'm in airports at this point, so it's like it's kind of freaky.
Yep.
So you know, it kind of just transitioned from me being in this awesome state of mind where I'm like super free and open to like, holy shit, everyone's on lockdown.
And has that really influenced your songwriting, especially?
Yeah, I would say so. Cause you know, the song I wrote right before this happened, it was like really chill beach vibes, like go with the flow, do whatever you got to do to be happy. And then, you know, as this whole thing progressed, I haven't been writing that much music. I've been playing a lot of guitar and like writing licks and whatnot, but I haven't been writing a lot of songs. Um, and that's the thing. I've had some like crazy writer's block during this whole thing because I want to be able, part of my music is like I'm very honest with things, but I also don't want to be putting out negative vibes out there, if that makes sense. I want my music to be something people listen to and like they feel they feel it as something genuine, but they also, you know, I don't want it to bring people down. I want people to put my music on and be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, you really want your songs to have some purpose. You want some songs to be inspirational. You want somebody to have at least this is what I'm sensing, and you really want your songs to show the bright side of life almost.
Yeah. Pick people up rather than, you know, everyone's had enough of this being brought down sensation in
Yeah,
this entire year.
you don't want the Smiths type of music to make us sad and gloomy and stuff like
Right.
that.
Right. So you know, there's just like there's so many times where I'm feeling all of these emotions and I want to put it down on paper, and after like I write a verse, I'm like, oh my god, that was depressing. Like I could release this song. It sounds great, you know, like some kind of Elliott Smith vibes where it's just, you know, a little gloomy, beautiful minor chord progression, but it's like we don't need that right now.
Yeah.
You know?
When you're ready to switch phases and reinvent yourself, you can explore that part of your
Yeah.
music. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of musicians seems to have that phase when they're experimenting and stuff. So if you want to
Yeah,
save that for that time.
there was that slight emo phase in high school that I got out of, and then slowly going back into it, you know.
Wow, I
My
mean,
Chemical Romance and shit. Yeah.
well, you know, with that, why don't we hear your first track with this if you're
Yeah,
ready?
let's do it, man. So fun fact, this is a little travel guitar too. This is actually the guitar Ed Sheeran plays.
Really? What's it called?
Yeah. The LX1.
All right.
And
Free
it's
endorsements
yeah.
for them.
Yeah, no, it's a cool little guitar. It's just fun to travel around with. But without further ado,
Wait,
this is the song.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So this is the song I actually I wrote on the beach. This is called Brighter Side, and this is what I wrote this in February in Costa Rica, like on the beach. It just like it came out of nowhere. It came from the ocean and just like got written down on a piece of paper through me as a medium. Like I don't even feel like I wrote it. It was wild. But
Beautiful.
anyway.
Floor is yours, Dan.
Waves break. I hate when you say you don't want to see me again. Waves break. I hate when you say you would just rather be friends. And I know story goes untold. She's always with another man. So I wait till I'm old and gray, just so I can be there to hold a hand. Why don't you look at the brighter side of things? Why don't you look at the brighter side of things? Why don't you look at the brighter side of things? These waves, they heat my soul when it feels out of control. Waves crash, she asked why I'm looking so down on the reef this afternoon. Waves crash, I looked when she asked. That was clearer than the moon. Why don't you look at the brighter side of things? Why don't you look at the brighter side of things? Why don't you look at the brighter side of things? These waves, they heat my soul when it feels out of control. Rocks break, forms take, and I'll wait. She's still on my mind in paradise. So I'll move quite slow, let the waves take control. 'Cause I'm just loving life. Why don't you look at the brighter side of things? Why don't you look at the brighter side of things? Why don't you look the brighter side of things? Pura vida, baby, pura vida, baby.
How about that? Dan Berger, incredible. That's Dan Berger with Bright Side. Oh, man, great job, my friend.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate that.
So, yeah, that was really sweet. You make me miss the summer, and I cannot wait till I get somewhere tropical with that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so you just wrote that right in the beautiful beaches of Costa Rica, huh?
Dude, it was pretty nuts. I was like my cousin was always sleeping till like 10. And I'm so stuck on the, I'm so used to waking up at like 7 or 6 for work that my internal clock just kept me there. So I like woke up at 6 a.m. and all of these like cool ass people in Costa Rica are like, yeah, we're gonna go surf. And I was like, hey man, I'll just come with my guitar, and then found my way to a rock, and the rest is history.
How about that? So, when you are songwriting, do you feel you're better off putting yourself in a certain environment when you songwrite? Or are you someone who just goes straight to a computer or laptop and just think whatever is in your head? Can you tell me that process, whether it was from this song or others?
Most of the time, like 95% of the time, it starts with a melody, a cool chord progression. And I mean, place definitely matters, but really the thing that matters the most is getting into that flow mindset. And you probably know like a decent amount about that. It's just, that mindset where you're completely consumed with what you're doing. You're just on this unbelievable, I guess, racetrack of focus. And basically what happens is I start with a cool chord progression, and all of a sudden I'll just, if that's the chord progression that I'm going with and I'm like confident in it, words just kind of start flying out. And, sometimes it's nonsense and it doesn't even make sense. And sometimes, I'll just string together a full verse that like is way deeper than I originally intended. And I was like, where the hell did that come from? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So it really is most of the time the music and then the lyrics, at least for you.
For me, 95% of the time. Every once in a while, I have one of those moments where the lyrics and the melody come in my head, and I just need to get to a guitar immediately and figure it out. But most of the time, man, yeah, it's just me just messing. It almost happens by accident every time too.
How about that? It seems like with the various podcasts or interviews I've heard musicians talk, they do seem to talk. It's really much of a natural process, and that's why you hear these stories of these great songs written in 15 minutes that change a whole generation and stuff. And back to your point before, you were saying, like with at least I like to write. I like very short stories and treatments and screenplays and stuff like that. When you're writing something, you really, whether it's for you, your audience and listeners, whether it's someone's trying to write some to readers, you really need to think of that special way to have a pull for your audience. You really want them to feel special. You really want them to have a special feeling and feel how you're feeling when writing in music, and writing anything. So I really do understand where you're coming from with that, and most of the time, songs at the end of the days are just another way of storytelling, even with the crazy trap music scene. And if even we don't understand
no,
it sometimes, at
absolutely.
the end of the day, they are trying to communicate something. So
Yeah,
I hear your point with
yeah,
that.
no, and that's a good point too. It's like, it's interesting with different you know different writing styles, whether it's music or you you write screenplays. And at the end of the day, the goal is to put words on paper and evoke emotion out of people, right?
Yep. Emotion at the end of the day. That's what, at the end of the day, if you read a script, it's just words. It's just a bunch of words in a blueprint, but we have to put emotion to it, and that's what we connect to it the most. So that's what
Yeah,
to me, that's what makes things good and bad. Simple as that, is the emotion put behind it and the realism that you
yeah,
can connect to.
yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, man, but I haven't asked about you at all. How have you been? How's life on your end of things?
Life has been well. Can honestly say that, especially once I started this podcast. So, like a lot of people, 2020 has been quite a year of self-reflection and overcoming obstacles. So with me, just was doing my thing, working production in New York, and I was just in between projects, someone in my position usually is, still wanting to be a producer, and I still have that aspiration even with this show. So I was just I was interviewing for steps for jobs where I would step from a production assistant to a production coordinator. Had enough experience done in my time with getting experience and stuff like that. And as I was interviewing for those jobs, literally I was interviewing for two of them the very week Corona hit. It was
Oh,
I think they closed the night when the NBA closed Tom Hanks. That was a Tuesday, and like that Thursday and Friday, I was interviewing for two jobs, and one of them was at one of the big talk shows in New York. And um,
that
it w-
sucks.
yeah, it really was. It was a time, I'm not gonna lie, where I was just extremely upset. I'm ready to, as much as I love my parents and enjoy my time at home with, I've been saving up and getting on track to leave the nest, and then I just it was not in my control. I've been here since, but I do appreciate the extra time at home. Um, I
Yeah,
just, but between, really between March and I would say September, it was just a lot of writing, a lot of watching a lot of movies and TV, trying to enhance my skills to make me a better writer with that. And with that, it was, and while still trying to apply for jobs and, getting on unemployment and stuff, there were just some days I was really down, and And then my dad was on top of me trying to say, "Oh, you're not doing anything." But just being a good father, he is giving tough love. And
Right.
honestly, I always knew at the back of my head I wanted to do a podcast one day. Podcasts are probably the ultimate thing that got me through the quarantine, especially those really hard months in April and March. And honestly, I just I I I was getting unemployment and I did a lot of research projects. So I just like, you know what, fine, this is it. I'm gonna put the money to it. I bought all my equipment. I re I re I retaught myself all the software, or well, not retaught myself, but I was pretty rusty and got back into it
Yeah.
again.
Freshened up. Yeah. I
And
getcha.
there was one instance I was applying for a job that I clearly qualified for. This was like in September, and then I get that automatic email where we look for people who have better like whatever those dumb HR emails
Qualifications, whatever. Yeah.
qualifications. Like I literally have the exact things, and it was a place where I interned before, and I was just like, that's it. I really can't afford to have the gap in my resume, because even though I think it's clearly obvious I was someone who lost it as a casualty of the pandemic, but still, these hiring managers are just looking through resumes and stuff like that. So I thought
Right.
I need to have something here to not have the gap anymore. So that's when I said, you know what, I'm gonna do the podcast. I was listening to one of my shows as per usual, and then I just thought I can do it. And now we're here. You're good. Um, so when I have cool people showing off the cool, interesting people in my life, and including you, and we're just keep going, and I'm extremely proud of it. I still have a lot of work to do. It's not a lot of growth, but I feel good. I feel good giving myself a job, honestly, and it doesn't even feel like work. It feels like I have some purpose again and some accomplishments, and I get to really give a voice to the voiceless and show off how interesting these people are. I mean, of course, I would love to interview celebrities. Who wouldn't? But I need to first show my skills and credibility as an interviewer. So I thought, why not make celebrities of the people I know regularly? So, and that's why we have people like you
Dude.
and all the other ones. So, um, it's been a euphoria ever since then, and a new way of life since I started the show.
Man, that was awesome, Matt. Very cool. I couple of things I just wanted to touch upon
Of
there.
course,
Dude, you're definitely winning at life right now.
that
and
means a
I
lot.
and yeah, no, I mean that. I mean that because it took me a while, but life is just difficult. Life is
Definitely.
hard for everyone. For everyone, it doesn't matter what position you see someone else in. They're dealing with things that you have no idea that they're dealing with, right?
Nope. You're
And
right. You're right.
and and the fact of the matter is you you were faced with this hardship, and rather than letting it just destroy you and bring you down, you buckled down, you saved up money, you invested in yourself, which is huge and pretty ballsy. Got to give it to you. Like that's a great move, man. That's what you need to do to succeed in this life, I think. And now you clearly have some humbleness behind that too, because you're not saying, I know all the software, I know how to do all of this. You're saying, I got work to do, I got to
Yeah.
build this up. But that's the mind frame of success, right? It's just
Absolutely.
like,
First of all, your words mean so much to me, Berger. Thank you. And I get inspired with people like you with your 3 a.m. headlights, especially. And you're not somebody who let the quarantine put you down, and creating some amazing music. So you're one of the people. You are amongst some of the people I have to thank for helping me um, have a drive to do that. And yeah,
I appreciate that.
I just
Yeah.
didn't want to get pushed down anymore. I didn't want to get judged. I do want to work again, and I will be doing this podcast just as hard even when I get a job, and I figured out how that's going to work. So I just I just really wanted to not be put. I just didn't want my time to be wasted anymore. I'll already lose a year of whatever, but I could get some
Mhm.
personal growth, and I'm so excited to interview again. I mean, I do this all the time now on conversations, especially Zoom ones, and it's gonna be an easy sell, and I know someday there will be a person who'll give me a shot again, and I won't take it for granted. And amongst this, while growing my career, I really want to see where the show goes. It's my baby. I think I'll have this microphone forever. I really do. So who knows where it could be? I'm very interested to explore those opportunities as well. So trying to be amongst it with two careers. So we'll see which one's meant to be, but I'm just giving it all for both of them.
Yeah, I saw this thing yesterday, and it was I totally forget who it was, but it was some super successful person like pulling a guy aside and being like, I know what your problem is. I know why you're procrastinating on all this stuff. It's because you don't have enough going on. You need to be working on like 6 different things at once.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's so much to wrap your head around. But if you think about it, right? Like you got the podcast going, you're interviewing for jobs, you're trying to send your name out there, get your name recognized.
Yep.
And the fact of the matter is if you didn't have one of those things in your life, you might spend that time watching Netflix, right?
Yeah, and
I
that
mean,
really
for
was
you,
it.
for you, that's better though. That works in your line of, that's like in your line of work. So I guess this example doesn't work perfectly.
No. Honestly,
but
you're actually right. As much as we can analyze all day, but what can I do with all the things I absorb and information? So it really is a double-edged sword. Yeah, I can watch Netflix all day, analyze, and learn my skills better for content creation or for work, but I still need to put something to that. No one's gonna give me a job right away. You ever see those
right,
memes that are like, "Oh, Netflix will pay you $300 a day if you watch their new stuff." And if only those jobs were really out there, I could have definitely have experience with that. I
yeah,
as much as watching Netflix all day is fun, and trust me, I can watch anything, as you know, but I still need to have some type of opportunity to make it worthwhile, or I'm just a bum on the couch all day. And
right,
I really figured out how much a 24-hour day is, especially in those times. And there are just sometimes it's in the summer too, like while still trying to socially distance and trying to get back to normal a little bit. And it was just I needed some more purposes too, and this was the ultimate one. And I feel an obligation almost to show people how interesting they are, if that makes sense. Because
yeah.
a lot of times when I was talking to people, and I got this idea on a lot of failed first dates this summer. A lot. So, and the way I'm explaining this is there are first of all, not only with wasting
Are
my
we on a date, Matt? Is that what this is?
yeah, man, we're practicing with each other. so
Perfect.
but what I was getting, I would talk to these people, and I'm like, man, these people are not putting an effort trying to get to know me. But I know deep down, if they wanted to take an effort for that, they would,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So, like I remember I went on this ice cream date. This person was drop dead gorgeous. I don't know how to say like that. She told me she would hang out with Leonardo DiCaprio. That's kind of level she is. And if you look at our texts, she seems like the most interesting person in the world. And I don't know. Maybe she saw me and I don't know, something turned off. I like to not think that, but she didn't really put an effort in. And I'm like, you give me all this stuff on your text, but what's wrong with the in-person stuff?
Yeah.
And that made me show, like, everyone has the opportunity to show something about themselves if they want to and put the effort to it. So that was one of the get the ball rolling, and that wasn't a defining moment, but that would happen all the time, whether it's a date or whether I'm just talking with friends or new people. Everyone has something cool about them. So I figured, why not why not show that before the day I can interview celebrities, show these great stories of all these regular people, whether it's you, whether it's Jada Lee, who not experiment, who transformed into the cross-dressing community and in drag. So stuff like that, and showing her perspective and her stories, and showing how cool that is, and giving her an opportunity to show that side of her and that community. Or whether
Yeah.
it's my friend Bladar, I didn't know my doorman went through as a first of all, I didn't know he was a refugee. I didn't know the hell he went through to get to America, and we talked for an hour and a half exploring that. So I felt like, oh, this is just a great opportunity to show that everyone is interesting. And whenever the day I go back to the dating world and taking a nice break from it, whenever I meet some new friends and everything, even without the microphones, I just want to show how interesting people are. And this is a great chance to do that. And I honestly will do that. I would like to do that when I even meet high profile people that you can know everything about them, but they're a celebrity, but there's still a great aspect of them that we can all that they can tell us about their lives and inspire others. If you get what I'm gisting at.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's interesting because I think as human beings, we have a great grasp on what's wrong and what's going on with other people. But when it comes to ourselves, it's really hard to see what's wrong with us and what's right with us, what's super interesting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're so used to our thought process every day and us thinking this way that we think that's normal. And then all of a sudden, you know, you start talking to someone and you're like, wait a minute, you do what as a side hustle? And
Yeah,
it
right.
just blows your mind. And they're like, what do you mean? That's not a big deal, because they're so used to doing it.
Oh, and it really is a big deal. Everybody deep down can have a movie about them. I really believe that. Whether it's up to them if they want to express that story. And I understand some things are more personal than to others, and they'd rather keep that to themselves, and that's fine. But again, everyone has at least the ability to it, and I just want to show with this opportunity that you can go out and do it. You might have to put some money in investment, but Berger, I was just wasting my money on door dashing at the and buying
Got
movies that
Grubhub
weren't.
earlier today, man.
I wasted a lot of money. Well, not actually not a lot, but I just would spend money on door dashing and movies I couldn't find in streaming services, and I paid the $4 fee, and then all my other bills. And I wanted to honestly just put some money to to a great purpose, and that's what led to buying the microphones, the soundboard, the podcasting host, a podcasting editing software, and that's what I'd rather spend the money than wasting it on Burger King and
Yeah.
dining food. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just want to give myself purpose and show these hiring managers, and I have not a grudge, but I have something to prove with these hiring managers that I am legit, and I know
Yeah.
somebody will take me
You
and
got a chip on your shoulder.
easily, and it's never going away, even when I am working. So I just want to be whatever I'm doing. I want to be the best at it and inspire others because everybody has it in them. I really, really believe that.
That's awesome. Love it.
Awesome. Well, why don't we, when we stick to the subject of inspiring, tell me, Dan, who has inspired you the most to pick up a guitar? Whether you found this as a kid or whenever, who are some of your influences in music?
To pick up a guitar. Um, I'd have to say two. Initially, I believe it was my second grade teacher, Mr. Dinmore.
Really?
And, and this dude, he was a cool teacher and everything, but he had a guitar in the back of his classroom. And when the class did really well at paying attention or something, he had like a couple of different songs that he used to play. And one of them was like the Volcano Song. I completely forget how it goes. Don't even ask
I
me.
can't tell you who
The
and this was just your regular second grade teacher.
Yeah, and the point of the Volcano Song was to sing so loud that the people in the next room over, the like joining room, heard us. So we did that, and that was like the reason I like really picked up a guitar in the
Wow.
beginning. I think I was like 8 or something when I
That's when
first
you got
picked
your
up a
first,
guitar.
and that was when you got your first guitar. Do you remember what type of guitar it is?
It was a Cort black electric guitar, and I still regret selling it to this day.
Oh, damn,
Very,
I'm sorry, man.
very upset about that. But
Hey, maybe you'll refind it. So I mean, this is much different. But Sylvester Stallone sold his dog, and he was able to buy it back. for more. I think it was for he sold the dog for $25 and he paid it back for $20,000 or like some insane amount. But this is when he was Sylvester Stallone at this point. So who knows? Maybe you'll find that guitar and you can buy it back. Maybe it'll be more expensive, but
Yeah, probably. I hope so. That'd be cool. But after that, man, I think it was John Mayer.
John Mayer,
Yeah, I know you're a John
oh yeah,
Mayer fan.
humongous.
Dude, something about that guy, just like there's a normal guitarist, there's like normal guitarists who play chords like this,
Mhm.
and then there's John Mayer and Jimi Hendrix who go,
Ooh.
and they're just able to do all these cool things. They play these wild chords. Like, that is not a normal chord.
Oh, it's not.
That's like a
It sounds
that's
beautiful though.
that's like, yeah, it's like a John Mayer specific chord. And growing up throughout the years, I got really bored with like the normal chords, and I started learning a lot of Hendrix and a lot of John Mayer, because John Mayer learned a lot from Hendrix actually.
Yeah.
And my playing just kind of took off from there, because it went from like, inside the box, play these four chords, don't do anything else. And then that just opened up a whole new world. And once I was able to like, learn from him, like he's the master of feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like if
I
he's
do
he's
get what you
wild.
mean. He's
Like,
a genuine musician too. And I know that I say that because, well, especially in very mainstream popular music, not a lot of genuine musicians are out there anymore. At least on a
right.
mainstream level, Of course, there's always. Sometimes I really believe the musicians I would see in New York City who are homeless really were just as good as some of these people who are big deal. They just didn't get the opportunity for whatever reason, and still, hopefully, they do find it. And I think that just shows it really you really have it in you, and anyone could be a great musician like that. And it's cool that I could see, and when I hear your music, I hear a John Mayer influence, the Jack Johnsons, the Eric Clapton's, stuff like that. That's what the vibes I get, and I really like you also put your own spin. You're a Dan Berger. That's what you are in playing these songs.
Yeah, pretty much, bro.
What are some of the what are some of like the great bands you've been listening to with that who's also helped you shape your sound, or you just enjoy in general?
um Recently, or just all over the place.
All over the place. Recently could count too, so whatever works.
So I'm a huge fan of the Black Keys.
Hell
um
yeah, I love the Black Keys. That
yeah,
those
Black,
two just two dudes being badasses with there. Giving that blues
exactly.
music too.
Yeah, dude, Dan Arbach is unreal. He takes the guitar and he plays the lead and the rhythm, and just it's crazy what they can do with two people. But
Yeah, right.
I really strong blues influence from there. I love the Black Keys. Early Arctic Monkeys, I'm a huge fan. Their
Of
first two
course.
albums are just mind blowing.
Definitely.
One of my favorite songs of all time is A Certain Romance. And it's the last song on, I believe, their second album, Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not. That's
Ooh,
like
my,
probably, I skipped that song the first 5 times I listened to the album, because I didn't like the drum beat at the beginning. The drum beat at the beginning goes boom, bada, boom, bada, boom, bada, boom, bada, boom. It's like a Tarzan beat. I was like, I probably won't like that song. And one day I was just in the car, and I had my headphones in, and I was like, oh, I like the entire album. And then from 1 second to the next, the whole song changed, and my mind was just blown.
oh, how about that? I
Yeah.
love those two bands especially. I I love how much hard they rock, and I do think they can have that appeal again. I read this article in Rolling Stone that they really think, reckon this was pre-COVID, but I don't think it has that much of a difference. But I think that they said that they believe that rock can make a comeback in the 2020s, and with their
That'd be
type of
cool.
sound, whether it's just when we hear the 2010s, you'll probably how you associate the 80s with like more.
Like,
keyboards and
yeah,
hair metal bands. The 70s with their disco and the rise of hard rock. The 90s with
yeah,
hip hop hitting the mainstream, and then alternative music, and then the 2000s have like a pop punk vibe, and more influence with hip hop. And the 2010s very trap music, mumble rap that really took over the
mumble rap.
decade. And
Yep.
I think people are just ready for something different. And whether to go back some rock roots and seeing some bands making the strides again, I think why not? Do you think
Yeah.
that rock can make its comeback?
I hope so. I hope so, because I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm getting a little sick of the terrible rap that's coming out. Like Jack Harlow is sick. I think
Yeah,
he's nasty. I think he drops some serious bars. But dude, there's some guys out there who I just
don't get.
sometimes I want to bang my head against a wall, and I'm like, well, why? But I mean, that's people like what they like, and who am I to judge that? It's just sometimes it's like, coming from, someone who listened to Gangstar, Notorious B.I.G.,
Hmm.
Tupac, Nas growing up, like old school hip hop, Wu-Tang Clan, Tribe Called Quest, like,
Legit music and
growing up to
storytelling.
that, and then hearing some of the stuff today, it's like, man.
That's why you appreciate like the Kendrick Lamars and J. Cole's that seem to have those type of vibes, and of course they're quiet right now.
Exactly. Like, both of those guys just drop absolute heat, and then But going on to more influences. Yeah, I'd say hip hop was an influence
Hmm.
too. I used to freestyle back in the day in high school, and that just because music came. My mind goes pretty quick. Like, I feel like I need to slow down. Like, my mind just shoots from thing to thing.
Hmm.
So when it comes to like freestyle rap or whatever, I was able to like come up with things pretty quickly. So I mean, that definitely played a role in songwriting for me. But you know, uh, if we're veering away from rap, Jason Mraz, Gavin DeGraw, big influences on me, especially Gavin. I loved Gavin DeGraw in high school.
All right.
Um,
Yeah, whatever. All people get influenced in various ways, and it doesn't matter what type of music. It just matters you wanting to show your musicianship and how awesome you are with that. So, transition to that. Why don't you want to play us another song, Dan?
yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, let's go. Let's go with this one.
All right. What are you
Hopefully
playing
you
for us
you can yeah, hopefully you can hear this. And hopefully I don't piss off my neighbors because it is like 9 p.m.
today? What's the name of this song?
Oh, right. Thank you. This one's called Away.
The Way. All right. Floor is yours, Berger.
I thought I had a master plan, then it threw my hands in a way and faded. Back then, when what was supposed to be was overseas, I let it frustrate me. Cold shoulder to the rays of light, black and white seem to consume me. Left over with the broken shards. I went too far to console your amusement. Wait a minute, I gotta get out of this place. Just a minute, only hinting. Hit the road, bags packed I'm out on my way, feeling jaded. One can see me, 'cause I think it's all planned out. But I have my doubts about the big guy's involvement. 'Cause I don't know which way is up or down. I'm finding out with all these sudden movements. Wait a minute, I gotta get out of this place. Just a minute, only hinting. Hit the road, bags packed, I'm out on my way, feeling jaded. One can see me. I thought I had a master plan, then it slipped through my hands in a way it faded.
Look at you. Look at you, Berger, once again. Killing it with that Stan Berger with Away. Killing it. I am a big fan of Away. Can you tell us where you got the influence for that?
Yeah. Oh, this is actually really interesting. I think you're going to find this super interesting. That song I wrote when I failed a class in engineering.
Huh.
And I thought I was gonna have to change majors. You know, my whole thing was, you know, I'm gonna become an engineer and be able to support myself with that salary and spend all of my other time after, you know, once I graduate, you know, all of my time outside of my day job, I'm gonna spend on music. And so that's where, you know, I thought I had the master plan came through. You know, it's like, and it slipped through my hands in a way it faded. It was like, I thought I had the master plan. I was going to graduate engineering. Everything was going to be great. And then I failed this one class and I was like, oh, I'm screwed. Everything's just going to fade away. So that was like a song I wrote right after I failed that. But, you know, I had the option to give up and try something else. And I said, no, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go back and I'm passing this class and I'm going to do it with a vengeance. And I did, and I graduated, and I'm super happy about it. But, you know, that song was basically me thinking like that was the day I failed that class. And I was like, I'm out of engineering. Crap.
Shit, you really knew how to make lemons out of lemonade. What helped you overcome that obstacle? So what after that, besides creating a great song out of it, how did you manage to right that wrong?
Well, I mean, I guess it kind of just, I guess it's more to do with the history of what happened. You know, I went into college in a relationship with a girl, and that did not pan out. And that was like my first real relationship. And that was like my first downward spiral in life. So I did my first semester. I killed my first semester, but like it also killed me. So I had to take a semester off. Then I pledged Theta Chi. So my grades weren't phenomenal then, because I was just so, you know, engineering on top of, you know, a fraternity, it's like a lot. And then the semester afterwards was, you know, when I failed that class. And, you know, it really just came down to me not putting in enough time and effort, because I was so engulfed in the fraternity. I loved all my brothers so much that I just like, I put my priorities to the side. And, you know, after that, I was like, wow, I really need to get my stuff together. And from that point on, I was in the library like 8-10 hours a day. And I manned up and just did it, because I knew that there was no other way. It was like, I either do the work or I party and don't graduate with an engineering degree. So I did the work.
You have a valuable engineering degree that is taking you well, I'm sure paying you handsomely, and proven your worth with that. And again, much respect and admiration for you for that, Berger.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
No problem. Why don't we get into that with that's how we met each other. You and I have the Theta Chi connection. Um, what were some of the cool things that you got out of the fraternity that you still use to this day?
Oh man. Well, I'd say number one, relationships.
Hmm.
I still talk to a good amount of brothers. We don't talk all that often, but every once in a while we converse. So we got to keep that up more. But
Sure.
Austin, I talk to Austin a good amount. I talk to Logan a good amount. You know, it's just there's just such a big connection of such great people that
Right.
it's pretty amazing. I mean, I talked to you remember Scott Scheckman, right?
Yeah, of course. Good guy.
Of course, yeah. So I talked to Scott Scheckman a couple months back, and it's the craziest thing. It's even when I got on the phone with you, it's like we could have not talked for months on end, and we just get on the phone, and it's like old times again. It's crazy,
Easily, every
you know.
time, and
There's not
especially
a
with
lot of
you.
people who are like that.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
what
dude.
I
No,
mean.
you too, man. It's like
With your awesome personality, storytelling, and good vibes, Burger, you're the whole package, and that's why I know we'll be in
I
touch more
try, bro. I
forever.
try.
I mean, last time I saw you was at Jake Campbell's wedding as a result for.
I
I
was
mean, obviously we weren't. If we were in a fraternity, that wouldn't have happened. So.
right, right. No, I was gonna mention that. Yeah, that was the last time we saw each other. That was a great time, though.
Oh my god, a Thursday wedding. No, that was my. Okay, I was too young to remember my first wedding. That really was my first wedding. I mean, my aunt and uncle got married, but I was 8 and I barely remember it. But yeah, I got me
Yeah,
introduced to that whole world and everything. All the that I see with Instagrams and that was insane. I didn't like my food, but that's for another.
yeah, yeah. I remember that. You sat right next to me and you were
Yeah, we did
filming it, and
my MV review, and I was not pleased. It was
I do remember that. But the drinks were free, so there's that.
Yeah, so what have I complained? I love the what was it they call that, a cocktail at happy hour? Well, I know it's a happy hour, but the cocktail thing, that's where I
What
loved all
that
that food, but my
that Apple one, right?
yeah, it was
Yeah,
that was my favorite stuff, but man,
yeah. I really
that
like
was
that.
that was excellent. Boy.
That was excellent. That was great. No, they had, I honestly thought that was a really fun wedding. They're both great people, so it was really nice to be able to celebrate that with them on a
Absolutely.
on a Thursday.
On a Thursday. I remember I was working at A&E at the time. I told him, hey, I have a wedding on Thursday. Listen, Friday. I don't think that's gonna happen. They were cool about
Yeah,
it.
right. Yeah, I took off work those 2 days, and I was like, all right, 4-day weekend. I'm
Yeah,
wedding mode, ready to go.
and it rained on that wedding, but they say it's good
It
luck when it rains.
right, yeah, but
So
it wasn't. It didn't seem like it was an amount of rain that was like red wedding ruining. You know what I
oh yeah,
mean? Like
no, it
it.
wasn't a torrential downpour. It was just little frizzles.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
want to
little drizzles.
if you want to risk the good luck for your marriage, might as well have it rain a little. And luckily it didn't go in because that would have been some stories.
Yeah, but I think one of my favorite parts about that wedding, I mean, it was a beautiful wedding, and I thought everything, Brooke looked amazing, Jake looked amazing, everything was great. But at the end of the wedding, after all of the drunk people had exited the facility on the
Yeah.
way out, they were handing sandwiches to people for munchie
Really?
food, and
I did not
that
know
was the
about that.
funniest thing I think I've ever seen at a wedding, and one of the best things I've ever seen at a wedding too. That was awesome.
Dude, oh my god. That was such a sweet time.
Oh no, Matt, I think you're lagging, man.
Hey, you see me now? Burr, Dan, you there? Damn, Daniel. Yeah, Burger, you there? Hmm. Hey,
You
you
back?
back? I'm back. You're back?
Okay, cool. Back.
All right, great. That will be a perfect time to throw an ad in there. So, all right, good. We're all safe and secure there. And yeah, I've been keeping in touch with. I keep touch with talk with Brad and Sam still pretty often, and Brandon Freeber.
Good.
They send their love, and yeah, we all have to once this is over. Once this is over, we really do have to kick it back, and that'll be easy times. Well, Brad's out in Los Angeles, but I'll tell him.
Brad's in LA? I
Yeah,
thought he was in Virginia.
he was there, and he moved to LA about a couple of years ago, and now he's living out there. Being he works Homeland Security or something. I don't even know. For all I know, he's a
What?
yeah, something. He could tell you. Because I couldn't. I don't know what he does. I'm waiting for the day.
That's wild.
I
Wow.
remember there was a.
Wow. How the times change.
I remember he told me that he was going to need me for a government clearance. They were gonna ask, like, he asked 3 random friends, but I never got the call. But I would have given a good endorsement.
Maybe you're on a list, Matt Brown. Who knows?
Oh, I don't know. You know, these spam calls, you never know who you can trust.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yo, let's talk some random things, Berger. Can you tell me? Let's talk about some food really quick.
Love it.
What is the worst? No, we'll start with the best of the funniest. We'll start with, what are some of the best restaurants you've ever been to in this world?
Best restaurants I've ever been to.
And what did you eat?
Okay. There are 2 that I will never be able to find again, but they're worth mentioning.
Okay.
The first one was in Lagos, Portugal.
Lagos, Portugal. All right.
Yeah.
I don't mean a lot. That's just I wasn't expecting that, but please tell me more. I'm interested.
Yeah, I know, right? So me and my cousin, right after I graduated college, and my cousin also graduated college, we both went on a trip to Europe, and one of the places we stopped was Lagos, Portugal, and huge beach town, big surf town, big party town, really cool place. So my cousin and I are just walking around, and my cousin works for Google, so he's like a whiz on his phone all the time. And he found like a ridiculous rating from one of these places. So we end up going in, and we don't speak a word of Portuguese, but my cousin kind of speaks Spanish. So he asks if they can speak Spanish, and they do. So he asks them like what the best dish is. And the guy just nods and goes back in the kitchen, and they bring out this massive dish, like this big, like just
really
huge, this huge dish, and it's between 2 people, and they hand us this container of hot sauce that's this big, and they put it down on the table,
like hot,
and they're just like, they just make this symbol, and they're like, go easy on it. So we fill up our plate, and it's this big seafood, like jambalaya kind of thing. And I put 2 drops of this hot sauce on my plate, and my cousin puts 3. And I'm eating it, and it's like one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life, but I'm dying because this stuff is so hot. It's unbelievable. Ooh. And I look over at my cousin, and his face is just red. He can't even put it in his mouth because it's just burning hot because of this hot sauce. But so we were in Lagos for 3 nights, and we loved that dish so much, we refused to eat anything else for dinner. So every single night we went back to that restaurant.
Every time. And it was the same exact meal every time as well?
Well, one time we tried to order a different meal, and it wasn't the same, and we said, screw it, we're getting this thing again, because it was that good. And then the second place was in it was in Santorini, Greece, and that place was awesome. I had an octopus tentacle that was this long, and it was like super thick at the end, and it like curled around on my plate.
And I'm sorry, where was this again?
And Santorini, Greece.
Okay. Oh man, I love
And
calamari.
yeah, no, dude, it was like it was probably one of the best. My favorite food is lobster roll, but these are my two favorite meals. So there was the first one, and then this was just it was this huge piece of octopus tentacle, and it was just like
Ooh,
curled up on the plate, and it had some sort of balsamic glaze on it, and it was grilled. It was the one of the best things I've ever eaten.
how about
What
that?
about what about you, Matt?
All right, for we're gonna go with best restaurants. I want to go with the worst restaurants too, but I want to ask you
Okay.
something after. But for the best, um, the best restaurants. So I have various answers. My answer probably changes every day, but for the answer on the 24th of November, 2020, I, you know, I went to this place called the Sugar Factory. If you ever heard of it, and it's, I'd ra- you should probably take a date with it. That's the place to go. And I, they had just these insane drinks. Now they have these $30, they're $36, and they're about this. You only need one, and it get you pretty zooted depending on how much of a tolerance you have. But that was insane. The absolute best sliders I've ever had in my life, and they had like rainbow. They food colored the bread. Absolute best sliders in the entire world. I've only been there once, so I really want to go back, but it literally is 2 hours. The closest one, actually, no, the closest one to me is in New York, but there's also one in Foxwoods Casino, which is about an hour and a half from me. But it takes me about an hour to go to the New York one. But I highly recommend that Sugar
So
Factory.
that's your Harold and Kumar's equivalent of White Castle.
I guess in a more sophisticated setting, if you're gonna get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
but that's
yes,
where you're trying to get
absolutely.
to.
I absolutely had made those facial expressions and had those food.
Yeah,
And another great
awesome.
place. When I went to Los Angeles once in a Venice Beach, I went to this Mexican place that was just out of this world. I had like an authentic Mexican Caesar salad, and I truly never had anything better in my life. That really stuck
Really?
out.
A
And
Caesar salad, a Mexican Caesar salad?
yep, right from
I
Venice
was not
Beach.
expecting that. I was
It
expecting like a ribeye steak or something. Wow. Okay.
No, I could honestly say that. I mean, this place was so hipster, Dan. I mean, I think no cards. I think it was, I might be wrong with this, but I think it was honestly all Apple Pay, Apple and Samsung Pay. Everything with well, you did it all you ordered through an iPad and everything. But those really stick out. And I also really love this place called, oh man, why am I blanking? Uh Another place I'm gonna give you is this place called, I am so sorry. Okay, I get it. A New York
Don't
pizza
worry about
spot
it.
called Prince Street Pizza. Nice big thick blocks. Uh Nice, the reddest, most rich sauce ever. Those are some of my favorites. But before we get into the worst places we've been to, you mentioned two countries you've been to. You actually mentioned three countries you've been to. Um, so I get the gist that you're a world traveler. How many countries have you been to, Berger?
Oh man. Yeah, no, I love traveling. Does Canada count?
Yeah, it does. That's another country. You need a passport for it, so I say
Yeah,
yes.
all right. I mean some people, but yeah. So I've been to Canada.
Canada,
I have been to Israel. I have
Israel,
been to Spain,
Spain,
Greece,
Costa Rica,
Portugal,
and Costa Rica. So
um,
six. Costa Rica too.
Spain, Greece, Portugal, and
Costa Rica.
yeah, Costa Rica. But I'm blanking on one of them. Greece, Portugal, Italy, and Italy.
Italy. So seven countries, man. How about that?
Yeah. And I definitely plan to go on more. I mean, traveling's probably one of the best experiences I've had in my life. Just both times traveling and especially staying at hostels. Like you get to, all right, so you go to this
Yeah, tell me
hostel in
about
whatever,
hostel living.
dude, whatever country you're in, right? You go to this hostel and you meet people from all over the world. I mean, right now with Corona, it's like I would never go to a hostel. But once all this is over, I'm excited to go back because, like, for instance, in the hostel I was at in Costa Rica, um, I met multiple people from Brazil, Argentina, the Netherlands. Yes, like a bunch of people from Denmark were there. Just all over the place. You know, I met some people from Germany. There's this one awesome guy who was like a doctor in Brazil, and he was just like, he was a super smart doctor, and it was like, I have a week, I'm just gonna let go. And this guy, I'm sure he's like operating on people and just, just doing so well. And I'm just seeing him like tank back beers. It's ridiculous. But no, you meet, I met a bunch of people from Sweden. Like you meet so many different people from so many different walks of life, and you're just able to converse with them and like experiencing different culture. Like we're in America where, capitalism rules, and it's like, what are you doing? Are you not doing something right now? That's not okay. You need to be doing something constantly. Like you're not working. What are you doing? You're a failure at life. And literally you go to Spain and they're like, oh yeah, no one's working right now. Everyone's literally taking a siesta. We're all sleeping. So like, you're just going to have to wait to get your beer because we don't care right now.
Really?
Yeah,
Talk about
no, the
assertiveness.
entire country of Spain takes I think it's a 2 hour, I may be wrong with the time, but I'm pretty sure it's a 2 hour siesta from like noon to 2 p.m. Just, you can't get anything anywhere. No one cares. Everyone's chilling. That's it.
Boy, what if we imagine we passed that in this country?
Right.
It's the country's nap time, huh?
Yeah, no, it's really crazy going from country to country and just seeing all the cultural norms. You're so used to America, and when you
Yep.
step outside of America, you're like, whoa, this is so different. Like when was the last time you went to New York, like New York City, when before COVID happened, and you would just say hi to someone on the street?
Never. We're just always
It's not
moving.
in the culture,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Except if you're an extremely nice person, most of the time you are doing your thing.
Right. I kid you not. I was walking down the street probably like 2 p.m. in Costa Rica, and I made eye contact with someone. We were walking by. It was like one of those kind of weird, awkward situations where you just make eye contact, and rather than that person just being like and avoiding eye contact and just like walking, he's like, "Oh, hey, how are you, man?" Like, wait, and at first it was like a huge culture shock to me because it was like,
Yep.
that's not normal. And then as the days went on in that place, I just realized, wow, these people really care about other people and their well-being and don't really give a crap about status. They don't care.
I love that.
And that was just, yeah, it was really cool. So when all this is over and you get some cash in your pocket, Matt, you got to go traveling, man.
No, that's exactly what I was doing. I always want to travel. I've never left the country, but honestly, another thing that's just derailed this from COVID, I wanted to travel for the first time. So my first time that I did have some money to travel, went to Los Angeles for the first time last October, visited Brad, and I was like, wow, I could do this on the reg. Oh, there are some places in America I still want to see. I want to go to New Orleans really bad. I like to see what
Yeah.
Miami's like. I want to see these major cities: Chicago, Austin, Texas. Uh, I would like to see Phoenix. I like to see the Great Plains states too. I like to see
Mm-hmm.
that. So I want to do that, and I do want to go to other countries too. I would love to go to Italy and Peru. I would love to see Spain. I think everyone. I've met a lot of people going to Spain. That seems like one of the most attractive places for Americans to go, and they love
Oh,
it.
I love Spain. Love Spain.
I would love to go to
Huge fan.
London. I'd love to see London, and I'd like to see the France too. One of the UHart classes I took was all on French films, and I loved. That's when I got into foreign flicks too.
Oh, by the way, I've been to France and
France.
Germany. I forgot about those.
All right, I have to add this for. I need to add this to for my copy. Okay, 9 countries. Now that is some impressive.
9 countries. France was only a day though. It was a day trip
Hey, it
from
still
Germany,
counts.
so
I heard you
still
have to be.
counts. I passed the border.
I heard. I guess this is with any country. I mean, this is a general thing, but you have to like. Is it true the French aren't too kind to Americans? Like if they can tell you are one,
Oh, they
or is
hate
that
us. Oh, they
it
hate
is
us.
true? Okay, I don't want to
Oh,
assume
so
or
true.
judge, but dang.
Stupid American. Oh yeah, so true. So true.
I would like to. Yeah, there are a lot of places I would love to go, and I plan on it. I really do. And now, why don't we get into other food?
Yeah, where in
I'm sorry, you're saying?
where outside of the country? You said Peru. You said Italy, right?
Yep, London. I'd love to. I mean, the whole UK in general. I'd love to go to the UK. Uh, Italy. I
Mm-hmm.
said Italy. Spain. I'd love to go to Australia. I want to see that culture.
Same. Yeah,
And
agreed. I want to go to Australia.
I want to. I want to see what it's like. I would just any of these countries really. I need to. I need to get humbled. I'd like to go to Japan. You know,
Yeah, that's on my list too. Japan's like a huge culture shock. So different.
I'll go to Tokyo Disney World.
Tokyo Disney. I bet
Yeah.
that's awesome. I bet that's awesome.
Yeah, so I do plan on adding that hopefully for the second half of the 20s for me and such.
Yeah,
So,
solid.
what about getting back to the food? Now, what are some of the worst food places or restaurants? I'll start. Um, I went to a flea market in Cape Cod, and it was so great flea market. It's actually one of the best flea markets I've been to, but the food was just, I mean, piece of shit. Food stand. Everyone was angry. I remember this guy. The food was. I got this was when I was a kid. I remember it so bad to this day. I must have been 8. They had like these
Wow.
rock hard chicken nuggets. And I
Oh,
remember people were pissed. I remember this guy went up to the manager, being a savage. This is the shittiest system you have. And he said, go fuck yourself to the person. But I mean, you don't need that, even though it was pretty terrible. But the Cape
Jesus.
Cod flea market, I forgot what town it is. And then I went to speaking of Cape Cod, Cape Cod is not the place to get food except for seafood I've seen. But I got this, I went to an Italian, first, I don't know why we went to an Italian restaurant in Cape Cod. No offense to them, but I remember just the pizza. I swear to you, the Giorno pizza would have been better. It was like, what is that like stereotypical frozen pizza place? They have like the little cheese, like the pepperoni's a little like red dot. It's
Oh,
I think it's
I know.
Snickers or something, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That was
I
a
know what
pizza
you
they
mean.
pretty much gave. The wings were just. I don't even think they. I think they baked them, which is fine to bake wings, but like this was. I remember at Hartford Conover they had those TGI fake wings that not even a drunk college kid would like that they would even get pissed off about. That's what they served to us. So
Oh
Cape Cod,
God.
boy, I'm not saying a lot of Cape Cod is amazing for seafood, absolutely, but don't get your Italian food there. At least not at this place.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah.
And flea
I'd
market.
say. Yeah. I'll stay away from the flea markets and the Cape Cod pizza. Good to know. um, I'd honestly say my worst food probably came from the University of Hartford. Commons.
That's a bold statement. I
Commons.
love it.
I mean, dude, I've definitely I think I tend to not go to like restaurants and make risky orders for the most part. And when I do, I don't know. No restaurant is like shooting in my mind where it's like that was just terrible. But I know that the Commons at the University of Hartford literally gave the entire university diarrhea for like the first week of school.
This is
Like,
your freshman year?
I think it was my sophomore year.
Oh,
Or,
my
yeah.
God.
It was
Diarrhea.
just,
University of Hartford
man,
diarrhea.
they're serving us prison food. It's just so bad, so bad. We would, those hot dogs, I don't know if you ever ate one of the hot dogs
Hell
there.
no.
Dude, you could take one. I did this one time. There was like a group of brothers at another table, and I like looked around and I threw a hot dog up in the air just so it would like tumble like that, and it literally landed and bounced. It bounced. It actually bounced, and I think Kevin Dempsey was sitting next to me, and we just looked at each other like, oh, what just happened? Yeah, that was Commons for sure.
Common, man. Another thing, another pizza related thing. I went to one of the I refuse to this day, even in New York, to get unless I've had too much to drink. Literally, this is the only way. I don't really like 99-cent pizza. I've never, but except for Two Bros, which is okay. I got really sick a lot of times from eating 99-cent slices. Like, it gives me the agita just thinking about it. And most of them are literal. I mean, they make holes in the wall look like luxury apartments. Like, it was just so grimy. And I remember one particular 99-cent slice. I was interning at a casting office and I worked for free. So I had no choice but to get the 99-cent slices, but I was punishing myself. So, oh.
Oh,
You ever had
that's terrible.
You ever had a bad or funny waiter experience? Like one time in Buffalo Wild Wings, someone dropped our food. He didn't give a fuck. I mean, it was kind of funny, but he just was a dick about it.
Oh, I had a weird experience this one time.
Tell me about it.
So I was in Florida with my family for vacation, and we're sitting at this table, and our waiter is just taking forever, and I look over and he's literally just bullshitting with this group of like really young girls, like I don't know, probably 18, like still in high school, something like that. They were, they were attractive, but like they're all just young, like really young girls. And I was like, that's weird that this guy is like talking to these girls right now. Like, you're a 48-year-old man, 50-year-old man. Like, this is just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we'd like to order high. So, we're waiting, and, me and my sister are just kind of talking about it, and we're like, that's kind of like, I was like, is it just me, or is that kind of creepy that he's,
You're like, no tip after.
Yeah, I was like, this is getting kind of weird. So then eventually the guy comes over, and I'm hangry at this point. I try to be super nice to waiters because I understand that it's a really tough job. But, this guy just like blatantly ignored us for what felt like 20 minutes. So, I just started asking passive aggressive questions just to make him feel uncomfortable for talking to like a group of what I thought were like 18 or 17-year-old women. Like, they're just like super uncomfortable that he's doing this.
I was saying before,
right.
I was like, was that guy trying to be flirty? Then when you said the age, it's like, nope, I take that back. Oh.
Well, it felt like that, which is why I was like, this is super weird and uncomfortable. Like, just let them eat their meal and like stop weird. So I started asking these weird questions and making him feel kind of uncomfortable. It's like, dude, you probably should like focus on your job and not these people. And then all of a sudden, it turns out that he is the father of one of the girls in the party, and it's her like 17-year-old. It's like her 17th birthday, and my expression just changed fully, and I was like, "Yeah, this guy goes from like total creep to like, yeah, to literally this. That's literally her dad," and I was like, "Oh." How the dynamic has changed.
I'll give you an extra tip now. Can you tell me a funny restaurant
Yeah,
experience
right.
besides that? Like a positive one? Like I remember Berger when I went to Vegas once when I was a kid. I just had his name happened to be Dan, and he was just the coolest waiter ever. He was like an older brother. He was just good vibes, funny storytellers. He told me he was telling us how he was a former baseball player and remember to stay in school, don't do drugs. And he worked at the
Sick.
Rainforest Cafe in Vegas, and he was just a homie. And I remember his name, just a real homie. You have a funny
Oh,
restaurant story?
yeah. My parents, when I was younger, my parents and I went to Provincetown, which, as you
Yeah, Cape
probably
Cod.
know, Provincetown, Rhode Island is like.
That's a good
Sorry,
place
what?
for good. That's a place on the Cape. You're talking about Provincetown, in Cape Cod, in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now that I take that is a good place with great food, mostly great the seafood, of course.
yeah,
But you were saying,
yeah,
all right,
yeah,
you're in
yeah,
P Town, great place is P Town.
yeah. So we're in P Town. We asked the concierge or whatever, the person at the front desk, what's a good restaurant. She points us in the right direction, and we have this waiter named Brian, and he is just he is like the most flamboyant person I've ever met in my life.
Mhm.
Just like just so flamboyant, and he was so funny, and it was awesome because he would like make gay jokes about himself throughout the meal,
Oh yeah.
and he was like, and he would just make like the food was hot, and he called himself like maybe a little politically incorrect, but he like called himself a flamer or something, and we just kind of laughed out of being uncomfortable, but like he was just super funny. And the food was amazing, and we kept going back there every day because that guy, exactly like that waiter you were talking about, he just came with like really good energy, really good vibes, super happy all the time, and just made us feel welcome. He was like, "Oh, you guys go sit wherever you want. I'll be right with you. You want some coffee? Yeah, you want some coffee."
Nothing beats an
So that
amazing
was,
server. We love our servers out here.
yeah.
Always tip them and our bartenders too.
Hell yeah, yeah. I tip pretty generously. I tend to like, I don't know. I used to work as a busboy when I was a high schooler, and I saw like the way
Oh yeah,
people would treat the waiters, and it's bull. So yeah, definitely tip your waiters.
absolutely, man. Making a note of that for sure. Oh man, can you tell me a funny dance story? You ever tell me? Can you tell me just a funny time when you broke it down? Like I don't know whether you're at a bar, whether you're at a wedding, whether you are at one of your hostels. Can you just tell me a great time when you broke it down, Burger? I know you have some great moves in you.
Oh yeah. That's a good one. Just, just absolutely broke it down. Maybe
Yeah.
I'd probably say my sister's wedding for sure.
Hey.
Lost in Japan came on with Sean Mendez wrote that song, Lost in Japan,
Oh yeah.
and,
Oh yeah.
and I am absolutely obsessed with that song. Just everything about that song is perfect from beginning to end. Like I know the chord progression, I love it. And I was already psyched for my sister's wedding, and when
Of
that
course.
song came on, I literally cleared the dance floor. I like pushed people aside. I was like, "This is my song. Sorry." just just
Hmm.
broke down into dance. I'd say that, and then I don't know. There definitely some times in the fraternity where I'd be. I remember I would just start breaking down into dance to the point where Jordan Howard would start replicating my dance moves. And
Hmm.
if Jordan
The great
Howard's
Howard, the
replicating your
great Jordan
dance
Howard.
moves, you're doing something right.
Oh man, I love that guy. Much appreciation
Yeah,
for
same.
that. Man, but we almost been at it for an hour and a half. We've been really having some
I
great
know. It
times. I
feels like,
hope you're having a lot of fun because I certainly am.
yeah, dude. No, this is great. I'm glad you had me on, man.
Seriously. I'll only touch on a couple of things for you, and then you'll play one more song. And um, Bid you a farewell.
Unfortunately, it's a little too late for me to be playing another song right now. I think my neighbors may kill me.
Really, even in the acoustic song? I mean,
uh, yeah, it's like
if you
it's
feel
getting
better, that's
if
fine.
it was like if it was a Friday night or or a Friday or Saturday night, yeah, but like on a weeknight, I don't want to be a terrible neighbor.
I hear you. I hear you. Why don't you tell me some of your best concerts you ever been to, Berger?
Best concerts. I went to in 2011. I think it was 2011. I went to a Black Keys and Arctic Monkeys concert, and that
No
blew my
way.
mind. That was
Now that's a
sick.
show. Where was
And
that at?
yeah, um, where was that? Man, I think it was at TD.
Okay.
I think it was at
In Boston,
TD.
TD Bank
Yeah, I think
Arena.
it was at TD Bank in Boston, and that was the Arctic Monkeys actually didn't open. The Black Keys opened. No. The Arctic Monkeys opened
Open for the Black
and
Keys.
opened for the Black Keys, and it was mind blowing because the Arctic Monkeys set was amazing, and then the
Oh
Black
yeah.
Keys came on and they were amazing, and it was just like song after song after song that was just. And then my ex-girlfriend bought me tickets to, while we were still dating, obviously, she bought me tickets to Sublime with Rome. And
Sublime with
that
Rome.
concert,
Ooh.
that concert was sick. Because he plays some old school Sublime, like Santeria, What I Got, Date Rape, like songs like that. And then the new singer Rome, he wrote a bunch of awesome songs that he played with the band, and that was at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, and that venue has incredible bass. So that whole concert was just pretty mind blowing. Just the sound quality was amazing. Um, I saw Dead and Company with Austin actually. That was pretty cool, but I don't know. I don't know the Dead as well as I know John Mayer, so I could recognize John Mayer's voice and like all of that, but I didn't know the songs that well, but that was a really cool show.
About
And
that.
then Citizen Cope, that was pretty awesome.
Oh, I know Citizen Cope.
Yeah, Citizen Cope, I've seen him twice. And then I saw Odd Future Wolfgang Kill Them All. That was
Where'd
sick.
you see them?
House of Blues, Boston.
All right. Well, you know how to have quite a list of great concerts to go to. Also,
Yeah,
Berger,
that's
have
crazy.
having said that, now with you and you're a musician yourself, translating that to your own concerts, what what do you usually do to prepare when you are doing your own show?
That's a good question. Most of the time, I'll just go through a set list of the songs that I'm gonna perform,
Mm-hmm.
and I just play through. I give myself a good amount of time before the show, couple of weeks, and I play through them. Each song I play through like 5-6 times, and if it's not perfect every single time, I'll just keep doing it until it is, and then I'll move on to the next song.
Sweet.
And it's just repetition. I just hammer it into my brain until it's like I don't even have to look at my hands. They're just moving and my voice is just gliding along with the chords.
And when you play in front of a live crowd, that's pretty much you just go and sing, and then you just see your muscle memory, and then you inspire your audience. That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah, I mean it all depends. Like if there's a if I have like my band with me or whatever, I mean, my drummer and my bassist, then it's a little bit different because they can provide some of the melody in the background, and I can kind of just improvise and do some soloing. But if it's just me with an electric or an acoustic, yeah, most of the time it's just I lay down a pretty solid rhythm, and then I can use my looper every once in a while if I want to put something in the background and solo over it. But yeah, just a lot of repetition with that, just so I don't forget anything on the spot, because that's definitely happened a couple of times, and that sucks.
Hey,
Not
man.
fun.
We all is the trial and tribulations, and just makes you a better musician. That's what.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And much admiration for that. Well, Berger, as I like to end every podcast before we say our goodbyes, I like to do something called the Prous Questionnaire, and that's from an old French television personality. And this was made famous from inside the actor studio. And I would love to ask you some of these rapid fire, but also kind of deep questions. So you
Cool.
want to get into that? I'm very intrigued by your answers to these, especially.
Love it. Let's go.
All right.
Excited.
My first question for you, Dan. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word. I was not expecting that. Love.
Love. All right. Great answer. That's the first. I like that. What's your least favorite word?
Hate.
Hate. Again, great answer. All right. When I ask you this question, this is not a sexual question. This is just a general question. What turns you on? Like some people might say listening to live
Passion.
music or passion. Okay, great. What turns you on in this world is passion. I can attest to that for sure. What turns you off?
Negative attitudes.
Negative attitudes. Beautiful, beautiful. Number 5, what sound or noise do you love?
Guitar. Plain and simple.
The guitar. That's definitely on my list of what sounds and noises I love. What sound or noise do you hate? The trumpet? No, I'm just kidding.
Sound or noise do I hate? The sound of chewing.
Oh, man. Yep. I know a few people like that, and it drives me nuts. What is your favorite curse
Yeah. Fuck.
word? Great. I love that. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Singer songwriter. If that's not what I already am, I don't know.
Perfect.
I guess I don't get paid for it, so it's not a career yet.
Well, I'm sure you will very soon before we know it. I genuinely believe that. What profession would you not like to do?
I guess maid. That would be my worst nightmare.
You do not want to be a maid. That's a good answer.
No, I don't like cleaning up after my own mess. Cleaning up after other people's mess sounds terrible.
I mean, yeah, you know how gross some people are. Oh, especially the pledging days showed that. But
yeah.
My final question before we say goodbye, Dan. If heaven exists, what would you like God to hear you say? What would you like God to hear? Sorry. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Where's your guitar?
Hey, beautiful answer. Well, Berger, what have we learned? We've learned about your world travels. You performed some amazing songs for us. We talked about your songwriting. We talked about your uh, the humbleness you have gotten in 2020, your engineering career, and all these cool things. Is there anything else you want to say? If you want to leave off before we say goodbye?
No, man. It was a pleasure being on. I love what you're doing with this. I think you should keep it up. You're kind of killing it. It's great that you took something negative and you're turning it into such a positive thing. I admire that. I appreciate that. I think you're doing really well. And no, nothing but good vibes and blessings your way, Matt.
Seriously, nothing but good vibes and blessings your way, Dan. And I'm just inspired from what you've done, what you are growing into. You're quite an inspiring young man, and I'm very glad we're friends. And I want to see you hopefully once this pandemic is over. And you got a lot of my respect, my friend. So keep doing what you're doing, and I can't wait to see where you're going. I really can't.
Same here, bro. Same here. Same on this end. Yo, it was great talking to you, Matt.
Yes, and where can we find your music, Dan? Just for the audience, where can we find your music?
Yeah, I'm on two different platforms on or two different accounts on Instagram. There's the at 3 a.m. headlights, the number AM headlights, and then there's also my personal account where I definitely post some music too as well. And that's DANNBUURGER. That's the at for that Instagram.
All right, and can we find your music on YouTube or any like streaming
Oh
services like
yeah,
that?
yeah. You can find it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, all of those streaming platforms. Just type in 3 a.m. headlights and look for a picture of the ocean with like yellow sand and a car in the middle of the ocean, and you got it.
Beautiful. Well, as Dan said, look up 3 a.m. headlights on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Music, and Google Play. You can look him up on YouTube, and you can find him on Instagram with Dan Berger and 3 a.m. headlights. Dan, again, I got a lot of love for you. You inspire me, and I know you're inspiring a lot of these listeners and audiences. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and I will see you really, really soon. You're the man.
Yeah, you're the man too, Matt. Much love, brother.
I'll catch you later, brother. See ya.
All right, peace.